Hello and welcome to the Conscious Leadership Podcast, which now includes a specific thread for the Women into Business Academy. My name is Julie Hogbin, your host on both podcasts, and if you have any questions on anything you hear, please ask. And if you would like a specific topic covered, let me know. And if you like what you hear, please share. Clubhouse is a new phenomenon that I have recently been introduced to and have actually got on board very quickly from what I can understand. So what's Clubhouse? It's a vocal only platform where you can join rooms and have conversations. It's an app you download. There's no visual to it, and you can interact with people you would never normally meet ever, and you would never normally have a conversation with ever, because currently, and I'm recording this on the 3rd of January, and I joined on I think it was the 30th of December, and that's 2020, it's almost a level playing field. So I thought I would do this podcast review so people perhaps can learn and listen from my initial reactions to it and get themselves onto it if you want to. It's Apple only currently, and I have heard that there is something on Google Store that you can work with. Now I don't know what that means because my phones are Apple. I have Apple phones and an iPad, but I have a PC. So I'm currently doing everything I'm doing on my phone. And I've just done a piece of research on Clubhouse and what it is. And on July the 10th, 2020, there's an article says it's been in play for just over 3 months. So this would have been started in, would it be March, April? So actually probably at the beginning of lockdown, and it was launched as beta. It's still in beta now, January 2021, still in beta now. It has been rolling and running within the US since it launched, and from what I can understand, it's just been opened up into the UK. I'm not sure about other parts of the world currently, but what is it? And I'll just read you a couple of lines from the site. It's a new type of network based on voice, which is what I've said. You don't walk anywhere. You open the app up from wherever you are, whether that's in the bed, in the bath, probably wouldn't advise in the shower, sitting down, doing some other things. One of the things I've noticed is you can multitask while you're doing it because you have a conversation going on in the background that you can listen to. What I've also noticed is that if you want to be a speaker or you want to be a moderator or you host your own room, you clearly are not going to be multitasking doing those things because you're paying more attention. But it's up to you the level of attention you give it and how you operate with it. There are currently lots of rooms around how do you use it. There are many rooms around whether it's an impact or an income thing. There are talks about it being monetized, but I haven't heard anything yet that indicates how it is going to be monetized. So I think that's still in the working. There is a group of apparently 40 people linked into that particular group about how to monetize it. So we'll end up seeing what that means. I have spoken to people who were on the app right at the beginning when there were less than 7,000 people. And as of January, the figure I'm hearing now is over 1 million. So it is still very early adopter stage, and to whether you use it or not. I definitely feel with a big, huge feeling in my gut that this is going to stay around because we as humans are crying out for interaction rather than being spoken to. So one of the questions I've asked is how it will affect podcasting, and the response I received was podcasting is a monologue. So you listen in, you don't ask questions unless you contact the individual at the end. But within Clubhouse, you can ask your question in the moment if, and there is an if the speaker allows you to ask the question. There's a whole process you go through. And I've been fortunate enough so far to have, in all of the rooms I've been in, been added in as a speaker and have had my questions responded to. It's a very interesting app. It's a very interesting social media platform. I'm actually loving it. And one of the things you can do is get very addicted to it. I mean, there's one particular conversation going on that's apparently been going on for 5 days. So what's the process? Download the app, sign up, and you take your, if you want of a better name, your handle, your moniker, you reserve it. And then what happens is that you've reserved your space, and then your name, and I don't know how this happens, but your name appears in front of somebody who accept you in, invite you in, and then you're a player, if you like. And until you're invited in, you're not in. Now, I'm looking at what people are saying, and people are indicating that they've reserved their name, they've reserved their handle, if you like, but they're not in. And from what I'm seeing, people have been waiting weeks to get into Clubhouse, whereas I did mine one evening. The following morning when I woke up, I was in. I'd been invited and accepted. Now, I don't know how that happens, and part of me's thinking I must have been extraordinarily lucky for that to happen. I don't know. Maybe it's my connections, maybe it's what I actually do, whether it's linked into me podcasting or being on social media or being active on social media, whether that be LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook. I don't know, but I didn't have to wait to be accepted in. I have already created 2 rooms, both were on goal setting. Both rooms had people in, not many, I'll be very honest with you, not many. Maybe that was the subject, maybe people didn't see it, I didn't know how to use the app, you can ping people into your room, I didn't know about that, I've learnt now. And then this afternoon, which is the 3rd of January at 3 o'clock, I'm going live with another room about female leadership and entrepreneurship, which is really my subject, as much as I call it conscious leadership. So I'm going live with that this afternoon, and I have already included a moderator in. I have adjusted my profile a couple of times. So there's a profile you can log up. You can attach it to Twitter and Instagram. And what I'm trying to do is create a club, which I suppose, for want of a better phrase, is a bit like a Facebook group. But this is called a club because it's the Clubhouse, and I'm working out how I do that. And from what I've just seen, I have to have 3. How do I've got to be at house level 3. Don't know what that means. I'm trying to do some research, which is why I have created this audio, because I'm partway through that. So if you go to clubhouse.com, you can sign up for the waitlist there, but download the app. You can do it through the app as well. And on the website, there are community guidelines. They were last updated December the 5th, 2020. So it is really new. It's really working. And every day I go on there are different things added. So the principles linked to community guidelines are: be yourself. The authenticity of Clubhouse begins with the people. So you're actually listening to people in all their glory. It's very interesting listening to people interacting with others and how they're speaking and what they're actually saying. And of course, not everybody has a podcast, not everybody is doing Facebook Live. So you really are feeling the people through their voice, through the tone. So be yourself, be respectful. This applies to every person at all times. Be inclusive. Tolerate, welcome and consider diverse people and perspectives. And this is very interesting. I had a bit of a light bulb moment yesterday, which was around you are interacting with the world and the people within the world, and you are interacting and communicating with people outside of your normal network. And I'm watching speakers, so the moderators and the starters of the room, inviting speakers up to ask their question, which has a guide from the moderators and the room host, and the speakers are going off on their own tangent, talking about their own stuff in their own way, completely disregarding the the host and the moderators, and it's fascinating how that is all being managed, because I do truly believe it's becoming a bit of a surprise to people who maybe in the past have been used to controlling that. And of course, on a voice platform, unless you're just going to mute somebody so you can unmute and mute people, people are sort of letting them finish. And some of them, when I listened to yesterday, went on for about 5 minutes. So there's a whole roll of things happening within this new platform that people are needing to learn the skill set to deal with. So be inclusive, build empathy and understanding, engage in debates that are in good faith. So debating rather than throwing your toys out of the pram. And debating is a skill set in itself. Discussion is a skill set in itself. So it's debate and discussion is not you with your view being right. It's listening to others' opinions on a similar subject, which may not be the same as yours. So how do you discuss and debate that? Again, it's a massive skill set. And foster meaningful and genuine connections, as that's what Clubhouse is all about, or this is what Clubhouse is all about, is what the guidelines say on their website. And this is really interesting as well. So I've already had conversations and been in front of people who A, I don't know, but B, when you look at their profile, are clearly serious investors or serious angel investors or serious businessmen from all walks of life. And that is just fascinating, because you would never normally, unless you inhabit their space, be in front of them. It's fascinating what is going on within this. So if you do nothing else, if you're interested and you have Apple, get on there and at least reserve your space and go and have an investigation about what it's all about. You may like it, you might not. You may become addicted, you might not. I am consciously programming my time. And what I've also noticed from the people who are setting the rooms up, they're going on. So it's not that you set a room up for half an hour, because the conversation continues. It's almost a bit like you're at a party with people you want to listen to and you don't want to leave. So some of them that have, I clearly was in one earlier today where I am convinced the host wanted it to last an hour because they had another engagement to go to, something to do with their family, and it was going on well over the hour. I'm hearing a couple of women saying my husband's going to divorce me if I'm not careful. So there is a real learning process about how we operate within this new world, because it is very, very interesting. So I'm going to work out how I get to house level 3. I don't really know what that means. It might mean that I need to do 3 rooms. So my third will be this afternoon. I'll keep you updated on this. There are various roles. So you can be a moderator, a speaker, or a listener. The moderator, when you start a room, you are automatically the moderator. So I've said that as being called the host, but when you start it, you're the moderator. This means you're the speaker with the special power to add or remove other speakers. Moderator, you guide the conversation, have a strong influence on the content and style of the conversation in the room. So you are the orchestrator of what goes on in the room. You, I suppose, would be the chair. If you go take this to meetings, you would be the chair of the meeting. So you thoughtfully curate the speaker group, you actively manage the conversation, and you consider the audience experience. And then as speakers, you share the stage, you know when to mute and unmute. So when you're in the listener group, you are automatically muted. When you go into the speaker group, you are automatically live. So you mute the speaker. And apparently when you applause, you can click really fast the speaker mute, unmute, mute, unmute, mute, unmute. And apparently that means you're clapping. I've learned today, lots to learn about this. And so when you're the speaker, share the stage, know when to mute and unmute, and you can bow out at any time. You can leave quietly or you can go back into the audience. And as the listener, you're listening, so don't feel any pressure to speak. You raise your hand to chime in, and then the moderators can invite you in. You can discover new people, so you can tap on people's faces, like their profile. You stay in the room, but you can read their profile. And then when you go to that, if you tap on the profile, it expands for whatever's there. So get a good profile up. And it says here, feel free to browse other rooms. So while present in a room, feel free to explore the list of other active rooms to see what strikes you as interesting. You can multitask, as I said already. You can pull your friends aside to chat. And you can start a new room together. I haven't done that yet. I've seen that, but I haven't done that yet because that will be pulling somebody out of the room they're in. And you can come and go at will. So what does it say here? On Clubhouse, ghosting isn't a bad thing. You can drop in and out of rooms as you please without worrying about offending anyone. So I'm not sure why they call that ghosting. You won't set off any alerts when you go. So there is a lot to this. Let's have a look at the rules. It says a bit about here about general etiquette. So rules. You must use a real name and identity. You must be at least 18 years or over. You may not engage in abuse, bullying, harassment of any personal groups of people. No discrimination. You may not share, threaten to share or incentivise the sharing of other people's private information without their prior permission. There's been a couple of conversations, because this isn't recorded. So there's been about a couple of conversations in a couple of groups about people are recording it, which is very interesting because it says here, you may not transcribe, record or otherwise reproduce and or share information obtained in Clubhouse without prior permission. So I know a couple of people have, when they've been doing the one-to-ones in various groups or various ways, have recorded it. Now again, I don't know how you do that. I'll have to find out. You may not engage in any conversations or upload any content that violates any intellectual property or other proprietary rights. You may not, this is interesting. You may not spread false information or spam, or artificially amplify or suppress information. That's an interesting one, because we all think that what we know is right, don't we? Interesting, but that would come back to the debate and discussion, I suppose, and maybe just knowing and spreading lies, pure propaganda. You can't promote information that's likely to cause harm. It's interesting they've had to write these rules, isn't it? You may not use the service for the purpose of conducting any unauthorised or illegal activities. And then it says if you witness a rules violation, report it. It's really, 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 really interesting. Oh, there's a whole page. I'm not going to go through all of this for you. So I hope you found this potentially your first introduction to Clubhouse. It is beginning to blow up in the UK. If it's started in the States, blowing up in the UK, I'm sure it will go around the rest of the world. I've already heard that on a few rooms that I've been in and listening to about. It's basically free learning. I mean, if you get into the right room, I was talking to a guy yesterday whose minimum charge for a consultancy was £10,000. Now, I don't know how long that consultancy was, but that was his minimum charge, and I ended up having a conversation with him. Just a general conversation. I wasn't picking his brains about anything, but just a general conversation. Now, I do have conversations with people that charge that much, but I had never met this guy before. So he is somebody now new into my world, into my network, that I know does something complementary and different to what I do. I'm seeing people already finding suppliers for services and businesses because it's on people's profiles and they had been looking and couldn't find it on any other social media platform. So there is work being carried out, there is business being carried out, and not in your face type business. I haven't seen anybody selling anything yet because this is a conversational platform. It is really interesting. If you want to know any more, contact me. If you want to come and join me, please do. Please follow me if you're on there. My name is @JulieHogbin. I am who I say I am, as I am on any platform that I'm on when I can actually get the name. So come and follow me. Come and join me in the rooms. Come and learn. Come and share. That's the key thing of this. Share. Come and have a conversation. And this will go out as one of my first episodes for January 2021. So have fun with it. Enjoy this. Enjoy, if you're not on Clubhouse, learning about it. So if and when and ever you get on there, you'll have more information on how to use the platform. It's a new one. I think it's going to be big. It's my gut feeling, even as an early adopter. And I'm not as early as a lot of other people, but I'm getting there. I'm on there. I'm learning. So happy New Year. Happy 2021. Let's make this year, as I've said to a few people, rock with sparkly bits on. Let's really take control of this year, and let's not repeat 2020 in any which way we can, if and where we have that possibility. So bye for now. Connect with me, ask me any questions you may have. As always, I'm always here to support and help. Thank you for listening to the Conscious Leadership and the Women into Business Academy episodes. If you have any questions, please ask. You can find me on all of the normal social media channels, along with Facebook pages and groups, LinkedIn pages and a YouTube channel. If you like what you have heard, please share to spread the message. And if you have anybody or a subject matter that you would like me to either interview or talk about, please let me know.